Hello everyone and welcome to yet another episode of the After Hours in partnership with Tanqueray Africa. Today we are at the paddle court. You know, we've been exploring different things that we're going to be having on this channel, and today we're excited to be here at Prothea Kenya here at Peponi Road. It's an amazing space for you to come do a bit of workout. You know, paddle these days has become quite a popular sport, and so no better place for us to do that than here. Today we are going to be having Nick, who's going to join us. In a moment, we'll introduce him. After I remind you to subscribe from wherever you're listening from. Make sure that you're following Tanqueray Africa on all the major listening platforms. Now, while you're here at Prothea Kenya, they do have some amazing Tanqueray-based cocktails that you can try, and we're going to be drinking after I beat him at this game. Yeah, with that being said, let's get into the episode and the game. Nick, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's do some practice rounds first. Okay, I think we're ready for this game. Before we start the game, please introduce yourself.
All right, so I'm Dr. Nick Were. I'm a medical doctor, orthopedic resident at the University of Nairobi. I'm an entrepreneur looking at how we could apply tech in health. Considering we're a low and middle income country, we really need tech advances in health, and there are quite a number of issues I've identified. So yeah, currently working on them. More so 3D printing in prosthetics and orthotics, and looking at very many more applications of 3D printing and other technologies in healthcare. So yeah, really excited to be part of this.
Really
Thanks for having me.
Excited to have you on the platform. Okay, let's do the first round. Oop.
That's yours, huh?
Yes, it is. If you are a paddle professional, let me not hear you in the comments, please. Out. 2 points.
No, it bounced.
I like this game. So Nick, what's your story and how does it begin? Did you always know you wanted to be a medic, let alone get into tech?
No, actually.
Walk me through how it started.
So I wanted to be many things. Wanted to be a pilot, I wanted to be an engineer. It finally settled on aeronautical engineering at a point, but it wasn't really being offered in Kenya. And then I was like, okay, maybe let me consider what my dad's doing, and you know.
Yes.
Yeah, but I lie, I've always been inspired by him because he is one of the greatest doctors around. We had the discussion, got into med school, and you know, through the love of math and physics, I eventually settled in orthopedics. And many people call us carpenters of the human body.
Carpenters of the human body.
Yeah, so I find like it's a perfect specialty for me.
It is. How long have you been doing orthopedics?
Yeah, so I'm a resident, so I'm in my 5th year. But of course, I've been practicing for about 10 years.
How long is the medical?
Yeah, so I did 5 years of undergraduate. Worked for about 4 years as a medical officer, then got into my surgical training, which has now taken 5 years.
Wow.
So it's quite a long journey.
It is quite a long journey.
But for sure, you know, for you to get the license to operate on a human, you know, you really need to get through it. Yes.
Okay, well, as someone in health tech, let's do the second round and see if I can beat you or you can beat me.
All right, let's do it.
For those who don't know, what is orthopedics?
Yes, so it's basically the study of the human skeleton from the minute microscopic details to, you know, the gross physical aspect. And basically the main issues we treat are issues to do with wear and tear, like arthritis, or breakage of the bones of any single part, including the spine, and even at times the ribs, and infections, things to do with infections of the bones, metabolic issues, for example, osteoporosis after menopause, when the bone quality after menopause gets lower. Yes. So we deal with the whole spectrum, everything to do with treatment of bones.
I love that. And then now, how did that translate into you trying to integrate technology into the solution that you're currently working on? And you can tell us a bit more about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, so as I said, we are also called carpenters of the body, literally,
Yes.
because the skeleton is the basic structure, and without it, you literally wouldn't have your height as you do, and for me, it's all about structure and treating patients to get back to their normal form. And what got me to get into Prothea Kenya, or even think about Prothea Kenya, is basically dealing with amputations. I've done a lot of amputations throughout my career, and looking at the different causes of amputations, there's road traffic accidents where you get very serious crash
Yes.
injuries, and many times amputations are life-saving procedures for such severe injuries. Another common cause of amputations in Kenya are things like diabetic feet, where you have diabetic patients who may get wounds, and the wounds heals much slower than other people who are non-diabetic and are more predisposed to infections. So these infections are very hard to treat, and many times an amputation is, part of the treatment.
Yes.
And it basically just getting off the infected part, because once the infection lingers, it can end up affecting your whole body.
Yes.
Another common cause of the amputations is peripheral vascular disease, where your arteries clog up. Another is cancers, where the surgeon intervenes to cut off the cancerous part.
Yes.
And I found, that the amputation rate in Kenya is really growing. As far as the healthcare is increasing and getting better, we're having the population growing older and older, and with that we have more amputees around. I also looked at the prosthetic cost in Kenya. The prosthetic is just the artificial limb. You could have it for the lower limb, the legs, or below or above the knee. You could have it for the hands as well. And these devices are really costly. They literally could get up to millions, especially for the upper limb. And for the lower limb also could, like for a really good one, could go up to about $1 million, probably 600,000. And the thing is that these devices are not ordinarily covered by the national insurance. And I've seen many patients who really have a back and forth with the insurance companies to get these devices in and, to acquire the devices. So I saw it as a need, and in comes 3D printing technology that significantly reduced the cost of manufacture of these devices and has increased the comfort, made them lighter, and really most of the patients we've served so far are really pleased with the 3D printed prosthetics we offer. Just to say, up to now, we're about 2 years old and we've served close to 500 patients. Just last year, we were able to donate 300 free prostheses, and it was amazing to see Kenyans from far reaches of the country able to walk. And
I love that. That is so inspiring as well. Not only are you helping patients through surgery, you're also be able to create a solution for something that is truly a necessity for some of these people that just costs a lot more, especially as you've mentioned, we also don't have insurance covering such costs. So we'll get a bit more into that as well after between the next round.
For sure. Let's do it.
How can I miss that one? How can I miss that one? I give up. Good game.
Good game.
Let's go and wrap this up with some after-hour cocktails. To unwind after the game we just had, that maybe, who knows who won? Who do you think won?
Well, we'll never know. It's just the cameraman.
The cameraman is the one who truly knows who was the winner. And right now, Queen Dali, that is also based at Prothea Kenya, has prepared for us some amazing Tanqueray-based cocktails. I'm having a Negroni, and I think yours is a gin cooler.
Yeah, pretty nice.
It is pretty nice. Yes. Okay. Well, we were picking up the conversation from prosthetics, and I was curious to know, how do you actually make them?
Yep. So it's a pretty simple process compared to the traditional way, actually. So we basically assess the stump of the patient. That's the amputated part, and once we have identified that it's healthy, meaning the wound has healed, uh, approximately about 6 weeks after
Yes.
operate after the surgery, usually it's ready for prosthesis. And once we have ascertained that, we scan with an iPhone. There's a special open source app that we got. And once we have a scan, the app gives us a 3D model that we're able to manipulate. And we put the 3D model onto software that we developed. And this software is what makes the socket. So it's a delicate process which we don't really allow anybody to do.
Yes.
You have to be a certified prosthetist, and this is because if made badly, then it can cause more harm than good. So the design involves pushing in in the non-pressure areas and pulling out in the pressure areas. And once we are satisfied with that, then we go ahead and transfer this model of the socket to the 3D printer. And the 3D printer takes just 8 hours to go through the whole process of printing. And once we have printed, then we are ready to fit. So literally, we have had patients who flown in from Burundi, land in the morning. We assess them, and by the next day, they're standing on their new prosthetic, and we are gate training them. Because after fitting, we have to gate train you and assess, how you're walking and make any corrections on the prosthesis. And thereafter, you're literally good to go because, your body gets used to the new prosthesis. And yeah, that's how it is. Pretty simple. But then again, we really rely on the expertise of the prosthetists.
Wow, that's so interesting. And you were actually telling me about a couple of projects that you're working on. Could you share that with the audience as well?
Yes, so one I'm really proud of is the fashion show. We called it the Mr. and Miss Amputee Kenya. Actually, the first of its kind in this side of the world. And it basically involved getting amputees that we have served and anyone really with a prosthetic and availing a runway for them to strut. We were very privileged to have a few sponsors on board that did the makeup for them. And it was a really beautiful night. The main reason for this fashion show was just to spread awareness and to give the amputees the confidence that they need to really get back to society, because many of them really suffer from depression and low self-esteem. And it was just a way to show them that, hey, you actually can get back to the runway and put your best foot forward.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
I hope you're gonna have pictures that we're
Yes, I'll avail pictures. We have quite a number of pictures actually of the Mr. and Miss Amputee Kenya 2024, and look out for 2025 as well.
We love to see it. Okay.
Yes.
Aside from that, any other projects that are notable for you?
Yes, so there's an interesting project we have to basically empower amputees socioeconomically as well. So it's a pilot project where we identify patients who really can't afford prosthesis, and the criteria really is, someone who's young and strong, probably has a young family, and is not employed.
Yes.
And what we are doing is availing a prosthetic for them. And not just a prosthetic, we're also giving an electric bike. So we have teamed up with a company called Jump, and they gave us some special electric bikes that are geared, and they've really factored in the amputees. And we also have a trainer who will be able to train the patients, make sure they are fit and roadworthy. And once they are, then we get them employment, and then they'll be able to pay back the prosthetic in due course. And this is just one of the projects. Of course, it's really complicated putting all the pieces together, but we're hoping that we're able to prove the concept that we can actually empower these patients much more than just spreading awareness. We can put a buck in their pockets.
And have a feasible payment plan for them to be able
Yes,
to
there's a feasible payment plan, and also we'll be able to do our credit score for them, and should they need any other loans, then we'll be able to stand in for them and say that they were reliable over 1 month, 1 year or 1.5 years. They were actually able to work and pay back the debt.
Yes.
Yeah.
You had actually maybe mentioned to me that you actually do have someone one or two people
Yes.
who are currently being under the program. Maybe you can tell us what the experience has been.
Oh yeah. So we, as of today, we haven't really started the project yet. What we have done is identify 2 patients. We're looking for a total of 4, so that once the training starts, we do the training together. We do the training for them together. It's sad because for one of the patients, these are patients who've actually gone through my hands. So for one of them, he had a fracture. He was hit by boda and had an open fracture of the leg. And this fracture was treated operatively with something called an external fixator that you put in some screws and some pins into the bone, and it's sort of like an external structure to hold the bone together. But the doctor missed one important thing, something called compartment syndrome, where there's too much pressure from the injury, and this pressure reduced the blood supply to the leg. By the time he was getting to me, the leg had turned black. And imagine, from a simple fracture that could easily be treated, we actually had to amputate this patient's leg just below the knee. And it also points towards the quality of care patients get. We just really need to be keen, just encouraging health workers to be really keen while treating patients, because some amputations can still be caused by some mishaps from medical personnel as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and for the other one, it was also a road traffic accident. We're really seeing a lot of amputations from
road accidents,
from boda accidents, especially. Yeah, so just also to tell guys to be careful, because you could easily end up being amputated from one of these things.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's been very interesting to learn more about prosthetics. I mean, I knew of it, but I didn't really understand what it actually looks like, aside from the little bits and bobs we hear on social media. So really happy to have you on here to be able to tell us about that.
Thank you.
Besides
happy to be here.
prosthetics and orthopedics,
Yeah.
you've also mentioned that there are a couple of cool projects that you're also a part of. Do you want to talk about them? I know you have some goodies.
Yes, so, I've been a techie for a long time, and really looking to how technology can change our situation. Being in a low and middle income country, we're really disadvantaged in so many ways. But one thing I keep telling myself is that, we're not in the 1940s or 50s where, you really couldn't do anything. You really couldn't do much to change the situation. And I think one thing is 3D printing. We have really changed the landscape of prosthetics, and 3D printing in itself, can be used in other health applications. One is modeling of anatomy models to teach, and I'm currently making mannequins to train people in doing lumbar punctures. I don't know if you're aware of lumbar punctures. It's basically getting a needle into the spine to remove cerebrospinal fluid, which is fluid that's in the brain. And
This is all sounding scary to me.
yeah, and these lumbar punctures are actually life-saving procedures, especially in patients who have meningitis or conditions that may cause increased pressure in the brain. So we're currently working with HIV patients. One of the main opportunistic infections that occurs in HIV patients is cryptococcal meningitis, and lumbar punctures are literally life-saving procedures for them. So, but other than that, I'm also really passionate about virtual reality in medicine and the various applications that it has. One interesting one is virtual reality in psychiatry. I was talking to a few psychologists and asked them how they do exposure therapy. And she gave me an interesting example. If a patient is scared of flying, then she would literally get a plane ticket for them and fly and go through the whole process
Yes.
with the patient. This is very costly to the patient because they have to pay for the ticket, they have to pay for the psychologist's time.
Yes.
And one interesting use of the virtual reality, especially in this exposure therapy with flying, would be to just put the patient in an environment where they're actually in a plane seat, and the plane is actually taxiing and taking off, and the therapist is literally in their office. Patient is comfortably seated in their chair, and it still has the same effect because the patient would still be afraid of the environment, but now it's a virtual environment. So it has made it significantly cheaper. And just having this discussion with the psychologist, she really welcomed the idea of having this exposure therapy application in her practice. So this is something we have already launched, and looking at different exposures, be it combat, like for soldiers who've been exposed to such, or even some people who are just afraid of the dark.
Yeah.
Or there's some who are afraid of there's different phobias that
Yes.
exist. We're actually able to replicate them in a virtual environment, and have patients go through them. And after the exposure, of course, we use other technologies like rapid eye desensitization. And then, we take them to a safe place. And this has been shown to help with the phobias. Another interesting thing that I'm looking into as well is the use of smart glasses. Being at a major referral hospital, we receive a lot of complications
Yes.
of healthcare interventions done in the periphery, especially with surgery. You'd get someone has done a surgery and he meant the best, but at the end of the day, like what I had mentioned, you end up having to amputate a patient just because of the improper care that was done. So with smart glasses, you're actually able to provide shoulder-to-shoulder support for the doctor out there, and able to guide the decisions that he's making while intra-op. And hopefully this will have a positive impact in the general care that patients get. Yeah, so far that's what I'm involved
What
in.
do you have the glasses
Yes.
here? You want to show
Yes,
us? or
yes,
are
I do.
you- Okay.
Yeah, okay, so I've kind of improvised. Yeah, because sometimes I also use this, by the way, for working out.
You use this for working out?
Yeah,
How do you use this for
yeah.
working
So
out?
given my busy schedule, I rarely get time to get in the car, drive to the gym. Like it takes at least an hour commuting and
Yes.
changing, and probably you have like a 40-minute workout session in. So virtual reality has actually helped me because I have this amazing boxing game, and there are a few aerobic exercises in here that
Wow.
I use to work out, and like in literally 20 minutes you're able to burn 300 to 400 kcal.
And that is on the spot, just being
Yeah,
able
in the
to.
comfort of your room. Of course, at my place I have my boxing space, and yeah, it has really helped get a quick workout in, get your quick 30 minutes in, because of course we advocate for 30 minutes of exercise that makes you sweat, and
Yes.
this definitely makes you sweat a lot.
Yes.
And yeah, so this is it. I don't know
This
if you
is
want
it.
to
Do I
try
wanna
any
try
of the
it?
things I'm talking about.
Maybe I'm gonna try the glasses. Show us the glasses as well. Maybe I should try it. Oh, okay.
Is it a good
There.
fit?
Yes.
Yeah, then you have the controllers.
Oh,
And now, for example, for the boxing, the hands are the controllers are your hands,
okay.
and you go at it. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
the light. I see what you're saying about
yeah,
the
yeah.
light.
It's
Do you think
the
that
light
this is where the
affecting.
future is going, and people are not gonna buy TVs and should just probably buy VR
Yeah,
sets?
but then this is an amazing cinema, better than any movie theater you'd have.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it has a really
Okay.
wide screen,
And you can still see what's
and you can
going
see the
on around you
surroundings.
still somewhat.
Yeah.
Okay. How much is something like this?
Oh yeah, but then this is the best investment I've ever made. So this is the Quest 2 Meta. Right now we're on Quest 3S. So there's Quest 3 and Quest 3S. And it goes, I bought it for about 50,000 Kenya shillings. But right now you could get the Quest 3 for about 80 to 90K.
Wow.
But I repeat, best investment I've made thus far. And for the smart glasses, this is it. So you have a screen on the inside. So,
So you're
someone
supposed
is able to, of course, it comes with a head strap.
Okay.
It comes with a head strap, so you're able to view the screen on the inside, and that screen on the inside is basically what the guy on the other side is seeing. So he's
Yes.
able to guide you from that, right? So when you're operating, you wear this, and you're able to be guided from this
Oh wow.
in a screen.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nick. I think that everything you've talked about is not only cool, but absolutely life-saving, phenomenal work that you're doing. I definitely need to engage more with people who are doing not only prosthetics, but in the healthcare space. I feel like that is something that as Tanqueray Africa, we lack enough of. So
Yeah, for sure. And I believe that, just to the guys out there, identify a problem and, think of a solution that actually has some meaningful impact.
yeah.
Yeah, and there's so much to do. There's so much work to do out here. So yeah, just let's get on with it.
Let's get on with it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nick. Cheers to that. And cheers for the good game.
Cheers. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, make sure that you guys are drinking responsibly when you're having your drinks or your cocktails. Once again, we are at Prothea Kenya, and the drinks were specially created by Queen Delhi. And so, yes, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we. I absolutely enjoyed filming this.
Yeah,
It was
it was
out
amazing.
of the ordinary, but I think we did a solid episode.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye. Before you leave, the Tanqueray team and Tanqueray Africa wanted to gift you something. This is a mixologist's
Amazing.
dream. You have the Tanqueray number 10, a classic, some tonics, a cocktail mixer, and some amazing botanicals that are going to help you create such an amazing drink. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, much appreciated.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And yeah, make sure you send us a picture once you enjoy.
Oh yeah, will do, for sure.
All right. Thank you so
Today,
much.
no.
Today.